Marhaba, salam alaikum, welcome. What do you get when you mix Hindi and Arabic influences, when you bring together various artists, music, sounds, and color in one beautiful composition? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today I want to check out a song by SaadLamjarred and Shreya Ghoshal. They released a project about 6 months ago that has over 262 million views. Isn't it fascinating, especially to my Western world viewers, how there are artists out there and videos that have hundreds of millions, at times billions of views, and we may not even know about them because we're familiar with what the radio plays or what we are exposed to. And I love that about this channel. We're all about world music and psychology. We explore the world. We go on rides all around the globe to listen to music, learn and grow. I'm glad you're here. Guli Mata, SaadLamjarred and Shreya Ghoshal. Shreya Ghoshal is from India and SaadLamjarred is from Morocco. It's been way too long since I've listened to some of his music, and today I want to check this particular song out. Guli Mata. I have pulled up some resources so we can discuss the lyrics. It is said that this is a multilingual song, a multicultural collaboration, hypnotic lyrics, and a mesmerizing song. I'm intrigued, so join me as we explore this together. We'll talk about the lyrics in just a moment. I urge you, if you don't understand the language that this song is sung in, just to experience it. Listen to the instruments, experience the emotions it evokes in you, enjoy the visuals, and here we go. And make sure to subscribe.
Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Awantha, lived Princess Jennifer, who was renowned throughout the land for her unmatched beauty. However, she was trapped in a life she did not choose. Her father, the king, had arranged for her to marry the prince of a neighboring kingdom in order to strengthen the alliance between the two nations. But the princess was in love with Saad, a commoner who lived beyond the castle walls. As the night of the wedding drew near, Jennifer sat in her chambers, waiting anxiously for Saad to come and rescue her from the palace.
Okay, so beautiful story. We know this type of storyline, this type of narrative from movies, fairy tales. It makes me think a little bit of Aladdin, this idea of a princess wanting to marry a commoner, being in love. It makes us think of many tragic romance movies and novels where there is a love that is forbidden, or two lovers who are not of equal social status, two people that long to be together and can't. So it's setting a stage with beautiful imagery of this passion, this love that is going through trial, that's suffering or being kept apart. And are you ready?
Her from the palace.
The guitar, the flute. I will rewind back to the beginning of the song. Oh my goodness, the combination here of Hindi and of Arabic is so beautiful. These languages are some of the most melodic, musical, romantic, passionate languages, and there are many. I love variety, and Spanish is among them. French is among that to me, but Arabic, is just so beautiful. And to see here this contrast, both in linguistics as well as in their sound, in their vocals between Shreya and Saad, is beautiful. This tenderness, the femininity, the gentleness of her voice, the tenderness and texture of his, I feel like is a beautiful contrast. Both of them coming in with a level of warmth, with tenderness that is fitting. And even the footage is just so beautiful. But I also love is those notes and the fluctuation of his voice when he moves between notes vocally. There's something about that type of singing, that type of vocalization to me that is very fitting to romance, to passion, but it also speaks for itself. Even when it's not a specific word that is sung, when it's just various notes and vocalizations, there's a lot of emotion that is being invoked for me. There is a level of lamentation, like when you weep and wail. When you hear that in music, to me, it speaks, even when there are no words. I, right? Those little notes, or I, right? It's just, like this passionate, just longing. Anyways, let me go back to with the beginning of the song. Again, that guitar, the flute, it just sets the stage. A state of in between. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Like your shadow. I got nervous.
I love you.
Aww. Woo!
And so, Jennifer and Saad fled the kingdom together, leaving behind the life that had been planned for them. They knew that they would face many challenges ahead, but as long as they had each other, they were ready to face whatever came their way.
The romantic in me just came out full force. Oh my goodness. The mix here between Hindi and Arabic, like I said, is so beautiful. There's so much passion and beauty. as mentioned, I just love the notes and the fluctuation they are doing vocally. Hi, 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 hi. And the way that she matched it, I think an octave higher, perhaps modulated, beautifully complementing his vocalization. It just made me think of this sigh, this ay, 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 like I just long for you. I want to be with you. I got nervous when I saw the tent up in flames because I pictured them in there just so passionate and in love that they're willing to die. Romeo Juliet vibe. They rather die together than be separated. But thankfully they made it. They're fleeing, and it ends with the narrative, the storytelling in the end, letting us know they're happy and okay and starting a new life together. Even her in the white in the end on the boat, and them in their simple gowns, now both pursuing a simple life together, right? She, as a princess, no longer in her royal attire, but in a simple white gown, veil, beautiful. There's something so modest, so beautiful about modesty. Her beautiful eyes, her beauty, right? She now is pursuing a life away from her role as princess from the kingdom. Simple, white, maybe white implying a bride, right? Both of them pursuing their life simple on the boat down the river, leaving their life behind, their life of the past. His playfulness walking through the street, throwing the coins to distract the guard from the gate so that he can sneak in and see his beloved. The way that they were affectionately holding each other. Regardless if you're a fan of romance and all that mushy gushy stuff, there is something so beautiful about communicating love for another. We find that in movies, we find that in poetry and art, and sometimes that gets lost. At least in the West, in modern day music, you still have love songs, you still have a lot of passion and affection. But depending on what you listen to, sometimes we also find either a lot of perversion or this false idea of love, right? Where we, in a world of that I like to call swulture, the swipe culture, where when you're trying to get to know someone or when you're dating, it implies this idea of swiping, right? Left and right. We have this checklist of what we want. We swipe people left and right as if they're socks we are trying to change, as if it's a store where we can pick, and put things in our shopping cart. And when I think of love, I believe it's not just a feeling, it's action. It's a verb. It's an ongoing decision. And that's hard. We look at divorce rate. We look at relationships falling apart. We have debates about what love is, what it's not. Of course, one could also argue, well, the romantic mushy-gushy passion is not really love either, because in the day-to-day, that's when love really comes to show, right? When you're with someone and you love them through the good and the bad, and things are not romantic, beautiful, and passionate. There are no flames. And I think that's a fair point. I think love is more complex at times, and then again, perhaps much more easy than we make it out to be. But there's also something about communicating love and devotion that I find beautiful. Communicating that in music when, as mentioned, sometimes in the West, certain songs imply that it's all just about sex, or that it's all just about me, myself, and I, and what I can get out of something. Depending on, again, the type of song, we find perversion or we find this false idea of love when there is something beautiful about devotion. And I think that's what draws people in. Of course, the visualization here, beautiful people, the music, the passion is very fitting. We often find this in Arabic music, or even in music from India, where there are songs that deal with those type of topics: love, passion, death, devotion. And I think that's beautiful. And I think in the West, we should observe that and we can learn from that, right? There's something beautiful about a woman being covered and veiled in a modest way that to me is beautiful. It leaves things up for the imagination. It preserves, and it allows us to still wonder and imagine the way that a child would. And the same goes for men, right? It's beautiful to see a man who is choosing one woman who is committed and who has this desire to protect and care for his beloved. So all that to say is that even though this is not music we often find in the West necessarily, I think that it's beautiful to observe music from around the world and see how different cultures and different genres and artists deal with these topics. I think there's beauty in exploring that. The lyrics, as you perhaps saw in the subtitles, are very passionate. Neither I'm awake nor I'm sleepy. I'm lost thinking about you. To me, this means the state of in between. You feel lost. You can't sleep. You're not awake. Please tell me when I'm going to see you again, longing and missing you. My heart is on fire. How will I hide my love for you? Very passionate, very romantic. It's time for us to meet. I take your name even when I'm sleeping. Does this perhaps mean I say your name when I'm sleeping? Or I take your name as in I want to be with you. I want to marry you, like when you take someone's name. I want to be with you like your shadow, right? This desire to be so close to someone. Without you, I'm so sad. I don't even know if I'll be happy again unless I see your face again. And even here, again, perhaps in the West, I could see people being cynical going, what the heck do you mean shadow, right? That sounds kind of clingy. I think like anything in life, it's a dance. There's a time to recognize and be reminded we are individuals. We are our own people. Clinginess, codependency, that's not healthy. But in the same sense, I think sometimes we also pull up walls and say, ooh, being so close to someone because we're afraid, because we've been hurt, or because we have a hard time comprehending that type of love. Unless we've experienced that type of love, we may be cynical about it. We may be in disbelief. Perhaps we've seen the movies and we know they are just movies. Maybe we've heard the music and it's like, whatever, it's just a song, but it's not been our own experience. And so I think maybe this can be a reminder that there is something beautiful about devotion and love, that there is something passionate, but that it is work. It takes action. He had to go to be with her. She had to make a decision to leave a certain life behind. They had to go through threat and had to go through threats, fear of their life, danger, possible death even. And I'm not saying that that's what love is supposed to look like, right? Unless you're running from murderers and fire, it's not love. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying perhaps it can open our heart to, for one, the beauty of music that is out there. This has over 272 million views, 272 million people watching this, millions of people enjoying it. And so I think there's something for us to learn from and to say, hey, let me listen to something that is not usually my cup of tea. Let me experience the way the world views some of these topics. And what can I pull from it? Perhaps what love means to some people. Perhaps that there is something beautiful about being devoted to someone, loving someone, letting them know you are made for me, I'm made for you, we belong together. Oh yeah, I think it was beautiful. What I liked most here was the musical composition, the way it started with guitar and flute, the vocalization, as I mentioned earlier, the back and forth between the vocalization with the notes that implied the sighing and longing, the complementation between the Arabic and Hindi. Absolutely beautiful. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the next ride. Shukran. Thank you. Ayo.